Year. First of all, what are you most proud of? And what would you change if you could do things differently?
For me personally, the announcement on December the 5th of the Clean Growth Strategy, which is an economic plan, is a culmination of many, many years' work. Some of the things that perhaps, if we could have done things differently, I would have liked to have seen, in terms of the BC NDP bringing legislation forward, that they do so in a more regimental fashion throughout the session.
You have been in this unique position of holding the balance of power for some time now. On certain issues like proportional representation, it's easy for you to side with the NDP because you agree on that. But on other issues like ride sharing, for example, where you have differing views on the timeline of the rollout and the driver's license requirements, how do you, reconcile your party stance versus having to prop up the NDP?
On the speculation tax, another issue that I worked hard on, when it was first announced in the February budget, it was clearly, in our view, not thought through. And some of the ramifications of it had not been clearly thought through. I spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on this file, bringing information to government, trying to get it to a position such that when they actually introduced legislation, many of the initial concerns were addressed, but not all. And so now we had to actually, there were 3 critical amendments that I worked with government to try to get in to address some issues that we felt were not covered. Our role has been to ensure, we want ride-hailing here. We want it here sooner than later. I thought that it would be very difficult that we could actually work with the NDP. I come from a campaign in 2017 where it was quite personal, attacking me. I didn't feel that this was going to work very well, but I can tell over the course of this year, what has surprised me most is that not only have I seen this work, but it's clear to me that I really like John Horgan. I really like John. He's a guy I would go for a beer with. I mean, I have, for a second, if there was ever a second that I thought we made a wrong decision, no way.
So it sounds like that's an airtight alliance, you might say. What would it take for you to pull that away?
I can't see that happening. I honestly don't see that even in the cards. And the reason why I say that, in all honesty, a year ago, I could have seen that happen. A year ago, you could have asked me that question and I could have said, oh, we're frustrated on this and that. A year later, and I just don't see it. I mean, that doesn't mean the government should be complacent, and it doesn't mean that there won't be tensions, and it doesn't mean that there won't be disagreements. But it does mean that I just don't realistically see this not going the whole full term.
The CBC's Tanya Fletcher speaking with Green Party leader Andrew Weaver, and we should of course mention that that interview was conducted before the results of the electoral reform referendum were released.